All right. We are back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from the Rock Cave. I'm your host, Mark Pierce, as usual, and it is Friday, and you all know what that means. Say it with me. It is OCTANNE Friday, and you know what? We got another good one today. I know some of you said maybe yesterday's song was good for OCTANNE Friday, and you would have been right with the Scorpions, but this one comes into pole position this week, and we are going back to March 22nd, 1982, 39 years ago. The band Iron Maiden released their third album, The Number of the Beast. That's what we're talking about today. How about this record? 10 million copies? What? Yes. This record, insanely good. First one with Bruce Dickinson singing. Last one with Clive Burr on drums. Everyone loved this record. The critics, their fans, they all loved it. There's a lot to say about this record, but I would be lying if I told you that I knew anything about this record when it came out, because I was not. I know you look at me and you say, you know what, this guy, badass. He's been listening to heavy metal his whole life. I bet you he was born with a heavy metal soundtrack in his ears, right? Nope. Not happening. From 1982 to 1988, I was raised by MTV, so there I was listening to the likes of the Thompson Twins, The Fix. I was all electronic. I was the Human League. I was some classic rock. We're talking Journey. We're talking, that kind of stuff. Buying a lot of 45s. There was nowhere to hear this music. I don't know where people got their metal from. I'm not sure. It must have been circulating among people that listened. I mean, I listened to Sabbath early on, but that was basically it. The people who were listening to Maiden in high school, I don't know where they got it from. You're going to have to tell me where you got your Maiden from, because I knew who the fans were, but they were always hanging out in the smokers area in front of the school on my way in as I walked by in my button-down shirt. Just saying. Fresh from Chess King, getting myself a skinny tie. If you think I'm wrong, I'll find that picture. My metal stage would come around 1988 through the mid-90s, and then I picked up speed really fast with, you name it, I was listening to it. Maiden, Metallica, Queensryche, Sepultura, Danzig. I mean, I was getting into it all. So, Typo Negative, you name it, I did redeem myself. But when this record came out, just wasn't ready. All right, let's get back to it. Again, third record. The reason why they switched their vocalist is they really felt their vocalist was just not doing what they wanted to do, and they had some material they were writing, and Bruce Dickinson had the range in order to make this happen. A lot of frustration recording this. He was still under contract from his previous band, so he couldn't get any writing credit, so anything he contributed he was not credited with, but he got frustrated with the producer, and apparently that's what led to, when he was recording one of the songs, just that epic scream on The Number of the Beast, that never to be replicated again in metal history by anyone, not even himself on tour, was through that. But I get ahead of myself. Speaking of that producer, he had some weird stuff going on. Martin Birch, there is a story I read about in there that apparently during the recording, the studio, weird stuff would happen. Lights would go on and off by themselves. Recording equipment would go on and off by themselves. He got into a car accident with a minivan or a van full of nuns. And if that isn't weird enough, the bill for the damages was 666 pounds. That's what I read in an article. I can't verify it, but that's what I read. So this record was a big deal when it came out. Of course, in this time, if you remember, the PMRC and lots of record people getting their arms, the people in the public, the conservative American society was just really up in arms about so much music. I'm with you. Twisted Sister went up on the Hill, did that famous deposition in front of Congress talking about it. But of course, there was a lot of record banning on this, a lot of people calling them Satanists. And of course, they were just annoyed because they said, you didn't even read the lyrics to any of our records. But the impetus of this record, one of them is from the movie Damien Omen 2, the movie, and Run to the Hills is about the colonization of the Americas from the viewpoint of the Cree Indians. I mean, certainly not Satanists, but, you know, you look at their album covers, you meet Eddie for the first time and you're like, all right, something's going on here if you're not in the know. But all it did was fuel the fire. More and more records sold because of it. Let's talk about the tracks on this record. Invaders, Children of the Damned, The Prisoner, 22 Acadia Ave, The Number of the Beast. Like I said, that was inspired by a dream after watching Damien Omen 2, which I remember those first two movies especially, super, super scary. If you've never watched the first two Omen movies, you can do that, and you can know why. Run to the Hills, again, that one, just their first single to go to number one, right? It was the first record to go to number one for them in the UK. It was number 27, in the UK, but the album went to number one, their first album number one. It was like number 40 something in the United States, somewhere like 33, something like that. But number one in the UK. Gangland, Hallowed Be Thy Name. Hallowed Be Thy Name is a fan favorite. Even the band loves this song. It played on all of their tours except for a 2-year stint from 2012 to 14 where they did not play it, but basically played on every single tour. VH1 called this the number 27 out of 40 top metal albums of all time. A lot to like on this record. Again, I was late to the game to Maiden, so I want to hear from the people out there who were listening to Maiden in the early 1980s. I want to hear about that. I know you're out there, so let me know when you first started listening to Iron Maiden. But again, I picked up the whole catalog late. I bought the Castle remasters. I went through the whole thing. So, song of the day. Clearly, it's going to be narrowed down between, well, it would be 3 songs. Hallowed Be Thy Name, Number of the Beast, and Run to the Hills. In the end, I'm going to go with Number of the Beast because that's the one that just, it's just great record, great song. It's going to be fun to listen to today. For those of you in the know, give it a listen today. We're at 7, almost 8 minutes. If you don't know this record, give it a chance. Pop it on and see what you have to say. I dare you, double dog dare you, to listen to it today. All right, enjoy your OCTANNE Friday. Iron Maiden in the cave. Have a good one, and as usual, I'll catch you on the flip side.